So today we'll be looking at tips to answering business analysis, interviews, case study. And this is presented by NITEC Learning or Consulting, depending on what where you're looking at it from. And something we do is we do trainings, we coach. So let's say, for instance, you have a job and you're not so sure what to do, or you are your career, you're not sure exactly how to move into the tech space or how to excel. We offer a service to help you with that and guide you and bit by bit. We do resume reviews, mock interviews. We're having a mock interview on Saturday for someone. And we also do webinars, which what you are watching now. And we also help with internship opportunities. The training is very critical for us. And I'll talk a little about that today. So for this webinar, please, I'm hoping we'll do it in 1 hour. That's why I want to start now. Please remain muted and turn off your videos for bandwidth and also for not to distract yourself. You can post your questions in the main chat. I have a colleague here that would help read out those questions. So don't worry about that. The presentation will be uploaded to our YouTube page. Unfortunately, we don't send out our presentation decks. On our YouTube, I will advise that you please subscribe. And I sent out an email for those that are registered. If you're able to subscribe to our YouTube and share this webinar with some people, with your friends, you'll be able to get a free Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt certification. It's all paid for. I'm not the one that is going to be teaching you on that. It's another platform. I've paid the certifying body, so you get that for free, and you also get a Scrum Master training and certification for free to not be by meet on the certification body's platform, but it's just a way of giving out. But I'm sure you must have gotten that that email. Okay, so my name is Harry Madusha, and people call me the BA Priest. I think I like the name. So I'm a certified business analysis professional. I have over 15 years experience offering IT service and product to business users in various domains. I have problem-solving skills, helping individuals and organizations navigate digital transformation. And I've helped both large organizations and also medium-sized organizations. I have all kinds of certifications. There's no need going through all that because I keep adding to them. And I'm the founder of NITEC Learning. And here we consult, we train, we help individuals and organizations to achieve their goal, which in essence is what business analysts do. Okay, so today I'm going to be introducing what we are talking about. We're going to have some project activities. What exactly are the BA project activities? What is the lean business analysis? These things are critical that you should know before you start applying for a BA job, because if you are giving a case study, it's going to be around either some project activity or it's going to be around some form of business analysis activity. So you need to know these things. They are very critical. We do them in our training. You can read them up also. But I'm also going to be going to what are the questions you should ask yourself when you have a case study. So in the last 1 month or 2 months, I've had several people come out to me to say, I have an interview. I was given a case study to submit in 30 minutes. Can you guide me? Or I have an interview. I was given a case study to submit in 1 day. So like I said, there are certain questions that you should ask yourself that will help you narrow down your answers in a way that those answers deliver value. Now, remember, business analysis is understanding business needs and providing solution. So that your interviewer giving you a case study is a problem. And as a business analyst, you must be able to analyze that case study and deliver the best solution. So in business analysis, talk about solution options. What is the best solution? If they give three of us the case study, we'll answer it three different ways. But one person is going to get the job. It means that there has to be a way to answer that question optimally. So we'll talk about the questions that you ask, then we'll look at the case study 1, and hopefully we can get to the case study 2. I'm hoping we can get to that. Then I will take questions. I'll take questions, and if you don't mind, maybe just a picture together. So the next thing I'm going to talk about now is that when you see a case study, what are the things that you should look out for? What are those questions that you should ask yourself that will help you figure out the best answer for that case study? The first thing that you should look at, the first thing you should do is to analyze the interview case study. So do not panic. I see that a lot. Immediately you panic, it reduces your ability to think clearly, and you are not going to give your best. So don't panic. It's just an interview. I know you might be desperate, but you have to stay calm. You just have to stay calm to get the best out of it. So analyze the case study, understand the need. So it might be, we're giving you a CSV file. That's just an Excel file. Create some insights out of this file. Do something about it. Some of the things that we'll talk about today, you've done it before, but I just want to pack it in a way that, you can relate it to case studies and it can help you. The next thing that I would advise that you do is, this particular case study, what project type is it related to? And what I mean by project type is it a new system deployment? Are they deploying a new system? Are they deploying a new ERP or a new system? Or is it a customized software implementation project? So does the organization have its own solution that they are trying to deploy in-house? Is it a system upgrade? And the reason for these questions they will help you narrow down to what should I focus on? Because if you are deploying a new system, the way you approach it as a business analyst is different from the way you approach a system upgrade. A system upgrade, you are going to do your current state and your future state. But in your current state analysis, you are analyzing the current version of software that you have, and you are trying to analyze the upgrade version or the upgraded version, which will be your future state. So, and when I mean analyze your current use of the solution, what are the features? Get the release note of that particular software. In the release note, you will see all the features for that particular software. Now, for the upgrade that we are going to, maybe we are in version 1 going to version 2, what are the features in the upgrade? And you get all that from your release note. But one other thing I want to say is that if you look at your phone can do about 1,000 things, but you only use 5. So another thing when you're doing your current state analysis for the current version of the system, another question is that, what are the features that the business currently uses? Now, it's different from what the developer created the software to do. It's like this cathode ray TV, that big cathode ray TV. It's a TV to watch TV, but you can as well put it in your kitchen and sit on it and to serve as a chair. So sometimes business users find ways to use applications that are not conventional, or it's not exactly what the developer had in mind. Now, if you upgrade that particular solution to the new version, will that feature be taken off? So those are the analyses that you should do. And it's different from if you are on a project for a new system implementation. Current state is there's no system. Future state is we are moving to a new system. So that's why I'm saying that these questions will determine the approach that you will use for your analysis. The other thing that you should look at, no, I'm not done with that. The other thing you should look at is Is it a process improvement project? So some projects are not deployment of a tool, of a software, or of an artificial intelligence model. Sometimes it's just a process improvement. Let's say the ordering process is cumbersome. The ordering process is paper-based, and that is creating a lot of bottlenecks, and documents are getting missing, and they want you to automate the process, improve the process. How can you improve the process? What are things that you should look out for? Or it could be an enhancement project or a data migration project. So I see a lot of data migration case studies where you are, for those that work in the bank, you are using a particular version of Finacle, and you are moving to another version of Finacle, and you need to transfer the data. So beyond upgrade, you need to, what do you need to do for data migration? Now, there's something called STMs. An STM is a source to target map, and a source to target map helps you to analyze the data requirements for your source and the data requirements for your target environment. And you can do a mapping between both of them. Now, I'm not going to be doing that today, but I'm just trying to pack in as much just to help those that might have, because I know some people are here that have interviews, or it could be a maintenance project. Now, the second thing here is the business analysis approach. Does anyone know here what the business analysis approach is? It's a very simple answer. Does anyone know? You can put it in the chat. I just don't want to be chatting away. I want to be sure that I'm communicating. Does anyone know what the business analysis approach is? You can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. You can see your screen. Anyone? Okay. Methods, predictive. Yes. So the business are exactly. Thank you. So thank you so much. So I'm not alone. Thank you for those responding. So I just know that I'm not just talking to myself. So the business analysis approach talks about how is that project going to be delivered? Using simple terms, are you going to deliver that project using the agile methodology, or are you going to deliver the project using the waterfall methodology? This is not a BA training class, so I might not go into detail, but another name for the agile methodology is called the change-driven approach. What does that mean? It means that there are rapid change. There could be rapid change, and that agile approach is built for deliveries that are okay with changes to requirements. You know, so changes to requirements is not a problem in agile, because you have to deliver rapidly to your business users. The waterfall approach, or the plan-driven approach, is the conventional approach where from the beginning you decide exactly what you want to deliver, and the business only gets to see the solution at the end of the project. You know, so in between, there's no accommodation for changes and all that. So it's a lot of planning ahead of time before you start developing, unlike the agile, where you plan, you analyze, you deploy, you plan, analyze again, and you deploy. So, but I don't want to go too much into detail on that, so I'm not distracted. The other question that you should ask yourself is, there's something in the chat. Oh, thank you. Another thing that you should ask yourself is, what stage is this project referring to? Now, the question you asked me that, okay, Harry, what are the stages in business analysis work? So this is just something I compiled. This really helped me. And this follows the waterfall or the SDLC life cycle. And if you look at this, you will see the various stages of a project, and you will see the various things that a business analyst should do. So this kind of helps you understand, this particular question, where are they focusing on, so I can narrow down. I've seen case studies, or I have prepared case studies that are focused only on stakeholder identification and communication. Or stakeholder identification. I've seen some that are focused only on communication plans. So you need to be able to know quickly at what stage is this? What stage is this case study referring to? There are some case studies that cut across everything and expect you to build something we call the BRD, a business requirement document. There are case studies that expect you to build a business requirement document. I might not be able to go into detail. Please subscribe for our training if you want to have more information. You just need to understand what stage exactly is this referring to. Now, in managing projects in business analysis, you have the initiation phase, your planning phase, your analysis phase. You do a lot of business analysis work here, your design and build, your quality assurance, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So it's important to know exactly at what stage the project, the case study is referring to. Then this also would help. So this just talks about lean business analysis. So if you are scaling down business analysis to its smallest unit. Oh, wow. You're good to see you. I can't believe it. Good to see you, Kate. So if you are scaling business analysis down to its smallest, so what do business analysts do? Number one, business analyst, and it's just 5 things. So you can put the 5 things in your mind, and it's related to the interview questions that you might get to. What do business analysts do? Number one, they do stakeholder analysis. That way, they elicit stakeholders. Number two, number one, they do stakeholder analysis. What information? Who has information about this project, and who will use the solution? Number two, they elicit business needs. And eliciting business needs is broken down into 2. Number one, the current state analysis. You know, what do we have? You know, where are we right now? You know, what is creating this problem? You know, then your future state analysis. Your future state analysis is, where are we going to? How do we solve this problem? Or what is the next stage? What solution will solve this problem that the organization has? You know, and the next thing is your gap analysis. So your current state is where you are right now. Your future state is where you hope to get to. The gap analysis is the analysis of, how do I get from my current state to my future state? Example, you are in Ontario and you need to take a flight to, you need to take a flight to the UK. Your current state is Ontario. Your future state is the UK. But you can't fly to the UK. Even if you fly, that's a technology. You need some way to get from Ontario to the UK. So when you do the gap analysis now shows you how to move from your current to your future, or from your current destination to your future destination. If you are using a Google map, you will see all the routes. It will show you. Those routes in business analysis are called solution options. There are various options that can get you to your destination, and you do your analysis. So you do your gap analysis, and after you do your gap analysis, you now start eliciting requirements or documenting requirements from your gaps. Now, in a nutshell, this is what business analysis is all about. Understanding stakeholder needs and profiling solutions that meet those stakeholder needs. And those solutions, if they are the right solution, will give value to the business stakeholders. In business analysis, value is critical. The reason why they gave you that job is because you are going to offer value. The reason why that solution must exist is because it's going to offer value. So value is very critical. But value is determined from the perspective of the stakeholders, not you and not IT. Value is defined by the business. So to IT, having the latest and best machine that is as fast, that is fast, can be value to the IT, but to the business, it might be something else. They might just want, improve this process for me, take away all the non-value adding activities, give me a solution that can reduce all the activities from 25 to 3. That is value to the business. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, my stopping moving again. Okay, yeah. So quickly, let me talk about, before we dive into questions, some other things. We are having a 9 weeks training that is coming up. In that 9-week training, it is practical based. We're going to do some practical business analysis. We'll be working with certain case studies. And from the start of the project or the start of the training, from that start of the training, what we do is that we'll focus on a case study from the beginning. And at the end of the training, we have done at least 2 case studies. So when I say it is a practicum, I'm really serious that it's a practicum. My mantra is that I bring the business analyst out of you. Why? Everybody, if you have ever worked, you are a business analyst. The doctors are business analysts. Why? Business analysis is understanding needs and providing solution. The doctor understands your need of being sick, what kind of sickness, and it provides you drugs or other alternative ways to get well. So even the doctors do business analysis. The nurses do business analysis. If you go to my LinkedIn page, you will see a lot. I wrote an article called Debunking Business Analysis Myths. So some people believe that you have to read computer science to business analysis. That's a lie. So some people believe that you have to be a data scientist or you have to know maths. It has nothing to do with that. In the kitchen, while you are cooking, you are doing business analysis, because before you cook that food, you have analyzed, everybody in the house is hungry. What do we want to eat? But what do we want to eat must be based on what ingredients do we have and what will provide value to the people in the household. So even working in the house, you do some form of business analysis. So what I try to help you do, I try to bring the business analyst out of you because it is there. You just don't know. So if you feel you are in another profession and you don't know how to navigate into business analysis, come meet the BA Priest. I will help you and I will show you that business analyst inside of you and help you build your confidence. So in this training, we do a lot, and we also have, be able to write the Scrum and Lean Six Sigma certifications for free. It's all paid for in the training. Let me move on from here and focus on the other things. So what are the questions that will help you understand the case study? Number 1, is this a case study? Is this case study related to data analysis? Igalo, let me just quickly take your question. I don't think I want to do that, but let's quickly take your question. Okay, Igalo, I see your question. It's about the price. So Igalo, please reach out to us and we'll talk about that. If you fill the form, so you can take a screenshot of this. You can take a screenshot of, the link. If you can take a screenshot of this, if you go here, the registration link, you will see something about the price, or you send me an email at info@nitec.ca and you will get the price. Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you for that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so number 1 question, is this case study related to data? Why do I say that? If it is related to data, does it require the analysis of a data set? Were you given an Excel file or an Excel sheet to work on? Is it a data migration or data transfer project? You need to know. Is it related to querying data to get results? Now, if it is related to the analysis of a data set, you need to ask them for a data dictionary. What does that mean? If they give you an Excel sheet with columns and headers on the columns, sometimes you have columns that don't mean anything. So you need to ask for a data dictionary. A data dictionary helps you to define all the columns in the data and the kind of data. So it helps you to understand the data better. Now, if I'm fast, it's just because I'm trying to catch up with time. So please bear with me. If I'm fast, I just want to, I have a lot to do and I'm trying to, okay, I have a lot to do and I'm trying to get them done. So another thing, what tool are you going to use? They could give you an Excel sheet and say, analyze this Excel sheet in 2 days and give me all the possible insights. So the one we'll be working on today was an Excel sheet that was sent.
What?
The sheet was from Kaggle. I don't know if you know Kaggle. Kaggle is a repository for getting open source data. And they asked that person to look at that document from the University of Waterloo and provide insights to management that will guide them in decision making. They did not tell this person what to provide. They just said, go and look at this Excel sheet, look for the trends, and do some visualizations, so you need to decide, what tool am I going to use for my analysis? You can use Excel, you can use Power BI, you can use Tableau. Today, I'm going to be using Excel. The reason is because I want to make this as simple as possible. At least if you know how to use Excel, you can at least do that case study. So I'm not going to use any fancy tool. Excel, let's go down to the roots. Understand the data set. Look at the columns. Are they related to each other? What insights can I get? But we'll talk about all that when we talk about a case study. If it is a data migration project, you want to, what is the source data for that data? You are migrating data from somewhere to somewhere. So where are you migrating it from? What kind of data is there? What are the attributes of that data? Where am I migrating it to? What are the data requirements for the destination place? So this stuff I'm talking about might be a little advanced, but just bear with me. I'll break it down as much as I can. Then you prepare something we call a source to target map. So right now I'm talking about data migration. You prepare something we call a source to target map. So a source to target map is an analysis of the data in the source system and an analysis of the target environment and what kind of data it accepts. So this analysis helps you to understand the source data and be able to manipulate that source data in a way that it will be accepted in the target environment. The third question is, does it relate to querying data to get results? So if it relates to querying data, most likely you might have to use SQL. And SQL is another thing that we do in our training. So we have an SQL class. So if you want to attend, please do attend. Let's move forward. The second thing you need to ask yourself, is it focused on stakeholder and communication management only? So if it is focused, because I've seen a case study that says, highlight project communication as a business analyst. Mama. So Mommy. Project communication in mommy. Okay, sorry. Okay, so if it is related to that, communication cannot happen until you understand and you identify your stakeholders. So the first thing you need to do is do a stakeholder identification, list your stakeholders. Another thing that you need to do, create a communication plan. So how am I going to communicate with these stakeholders? Is my stakeholders in one particular environment? What type of stakeholders do I have? And what are their communication needs? Prepare an interest and influence grid, because you want to be able to understand the influence and the interest of your customers to be able to determine the best way to communicate to them. Then you manage your customer and make decisions based on your stakeholder needs. So let's move on. Is it a process improvement case study? If it is a process improvement case studies, you need to identify, number one, who are your stakeholders? What I mean by process improvement, you can have a process, ordering process that is paper-based. So there are a lot of paper flying around from the business unit to finance. Let's say, for instance, overtime approval. You fill the overtime approval on paper, you submit it to your manager to approve, your manager sends it to HR, HR sends it to finance, a finance administrator works on it, sends it to finance manager. Before you know, the paper gets missing and everybody is upset. Maybe the organization wants to do a process improvement. Can we automate this process? And they could give you a case study on process improvement. So what do? Identify your stakeholders and stakeholder groups. Model the current state of that particular process. Create a process model. If you don't know how to do that, subscribe to our training. We'll show you how to do process models. Identify the non-value adding activities. You can have a process of 25 steps, but maybe 10 of those steps are very unnecessary. They are repetitive. As a business analyst, you should be able to look at a process and its activities and be able to sieve out those non-value adding activities. Now, what do I mean by non-value adding activities? A non-value adding activity is an activity that the customer will not pay for. If I ask you to build me a golden gate in 7 days, and at the end of the day, on this 8th day, you have not built it, and I ask you why, and you tell me there's no availability of gold, or there's no transportation to move the gold stuff to the, those are excuses. I'm not happy. I told you to build me a gate. I don't care how you bring the gates to my house. I don't care where you source it from. Those activities of transportation and all this are non-value adding activity. Now, non-value adding activity are broken into two. One is called a waste. One of them is called a waste. I can't remember what the second one is called, but one of them is called a waste. And I remember what and the other one is a process enabler. So an activity can be non-value adding, but it could enable the process. So transportation is a process enabler, although it is non-value adding. So you want to identify and eliminate the waste in the process and try to find ways, to move your process enablers maybe before the process even starts, so then you now improve the process and all that. Let's move on. I'm short on time. Is it a solution delivery project? So if it's a solution delivery project, you are delivering a new solution. What you should do, if it's a solution delivery process, this is what you should focus on. Focus on this. Elicit your requirements. What is my current state? What is my future state? What are my gaps? How do I write so this kind of case studies, we usually say write requirements. But you can't just write requirements from the blues. You have to write requirements based on your gaps. But you cannot know your gaps until you know your current state, your future state. But you cannot understand the current state until you identify your stakeholders, because they are the ones that will tell you the current state. They are the ones that will tell you the problems. And that's why this lean business analysis is very critical. Now, sometimes it might not be that. Sometimes it could just be, maybe it's a case, it's a new solution, but they are focusing on testing. And that is why this project activity is very important. So it might be focused on testing and, you might deliver some things, but let's move on. I'm not focusing on testing today. It's data analytics day. Another day we'll do testing and we'll look at some testing case studies. Okay, so let's move on. Solution delivery. Yeah, is it a solution delivery project? So follow the lean business analysis process, identify your stakeholders, document your project objectives, perform your needs analysis. And your needs analysis is what? Is your current state, your future state, and your gaps. From your gaps, you begin to document your high-level requirements. Then you do your use case models, your process flows, and your solution requirements. Okay, so let's move on. Is it a modeling case study where they're asking you questions around how do you communicate simply and efficiently to your stakeholders? And one way to communicate simply and efficiently is by using what? Pictures. Like they said, a picture is better than 1,000 words. So in business analysis, we do something called modeling. Where's my mouse? We talk about something called modeling. And there are different kinds of models. The same way when you go to a runway and you see a model. Now, it is not the model we are concerned about. It is the cloth that the model is putting on that we are concerned about. It's just that the model has to put on the cloth for us to appreciate the cloth. In business analysis, we are trying to communicate a concept, requirement, understanding of the business environment to the business, but you have to describe it in a way that we understand. So you create it as pictures. And what do I mean by that? It could be a process flow. It could be a use case diagram. It could be a swim lane diagram. It could be a state transition diagram. I've given you examples of a model in a runway, and everything we do in business analysis is kind of related to what you do every day. It's just that you do not know that those are the names, that you those are the names that we utilize. Okay, so let's move on. Then the other thing, is it a solution options assessment and recommendation? What does that mean? Sometimes they give you a problem and they tell you to recommend a solution. I've seen a case study where it's related to, I think, food in a house. This case study is actually a business analysis interview case studies, and they are telling you about the dietary needs of the father, the dietary needs of the children, the dietary needs of the mother, and based on certain constraints or assumptions, they expect you to decide what should be for dinner. You might say, Harry, that's impossible, but I've seen it. I've seen one that has to do with travels. Travels meaning that daddy wants to travel here, mommy wants to travel here, decide where everybody will go. and you are the business analyst. So these are case studies that come, but you'll be thrown off balance if you don't understand business analysis fundamentally. And what does that mean? It's about understanding needs and profiling solutions to meet those needs. Okay, so I think we should go to our case study. The case study that I want to work on today, at least the first one, which I don't think we are going to go beyond because I don't think there's time, is a case study about it's a data analytics case study. I'm going to read this just because at least I'm sure you are following. So this is a case study of data from the University of Waterloo. It's a data set on the enrollment stats for the University of Waterloo and its affiliate colleges. The file contains anonymous demographic data. So it contains data about students from 2013 or 2017, and they give you the details. Now, what they're asking you to do is to explore this data using any analytics tool of your choice and provide insights through visualization to help the University of Waterloo understand trends. The reports that you create will be provided to management to help in decision making. Please note that you have 2 days to complete and submit this work. So this is a case study, and we'll try and analyze that today. So remember I mentioned about, is it a data related case study? So this one is speaking on this first one. And the steps that you need to take is, number one, ask for a dictionary. Ask for a data dictionary. It's very critical. Let me see if I can find. Ask for a data dictionary. So let me just show you the data set. This is the data set. So it's a CSV file. What do I mean by CSV file? It has an extension of CSV, yeah? And it is, and they expect you to look at this. So if you look at this, you know what, this is just the file. We'll go into analyzing it. Just give me a second. So ask for a data dictionary if you don't understand, because sometimes some of these data sets, they might write something on the column that does not make any sense to you, and you're trying to figure out what exactly does this mean, you know? So ask for a data dictionary to define all the columns and what they mean, and it will also kind of make you look like you know what you're talking about, you know, and all that. Yeah, so let's move on. Yeah, so how do you approach this kind of data analytics case study? I just wanted to say that this case study is from, the data set is from Kaggle, and this is the link to that data set. It's available free, so you can always go download it and try yourself. The data dictionary is like a legend for data. Exactly. Thank you, Igalo. Thank you. The data dictionary is like a legend. Exactly. It explains the data and what it means. Things to call. Okay, I've said it here. Decide on the tool. Today we are going to use Excel. We could have used Power BI or Tableau. I'm not going there because I don't want to get people confused. And I want to show you that Excel, as it looks, is a very, 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 very powerful tool. Very powerful tool. Can do a lot. So most of these Tableau and Power BI are built on the idea and the features of Excel. So if you understand Excel well, it makes some of those ones a little easier to understand. Analyze the columns and decide on the insights that you can get. Okay, now, so you know what? This is the data set. The first column is the fiscal year. So the fiscal year is the year of the enrollment. Remember that this is a student enrollment data set. Fiscal year, we have the term type. So one thing I like to do is, first of all, I like to go to the filter. The reason why I go to the filter is that I want to see what the headers are. It helps me decide exactly. So I know that, okay, I have 2012, 2013, 2014, 2016, 2017 data here. So this kind of helps me. Then another thing you could do, you look at so we have 3 types of terms. We have the fall, spring, and the winter term. So I think usually spring, winter, and fall term. We have graduate students and undergraduate enrollments. All I'm doing is just looking at the header. So I'm taking you through the steps I would take. So you just follow me. That's what I would do. So I'm looking at the headers to understand exactly what is contained in this data and how I can get insights. We have the program types. We have bachelor's degree, doctorate, master's, blah, blah, blah. We have study year. And I think this is why the data dictionary is important. For instance, study year, I don't know what that means. So, and I'm seeing D. What exactly does D mean? If I had a data dictionary for this, that will explain, but I can make do without it. I will just assume this column doesn't exist for me right now. Campus. So University of Waterloo has different affiliate colleges. So we have this. Faculty groups. If you had a data dictionary, if they tell you, but at least I know ENG is engineering. I know MATH is math, science. I don't know what RN is. So if you had a data dictionary to explain all this, but at least I can figure out some of this. Faculty program grouping. So you have the various, so these are the faculties and these are the departments in those faculties. You have, is this particular course a co-op course or is it a regular course? Work term, is it an academic term or work term? Is it full-time or part-time? Are they Canadians, international students, or PRs that are applying to this? The gender distribution, the unique counts, and the head count. Okay, so I want to ask a question. I just want anybody to respond. What insight do you think I would get from this data? I don't want it to just be me talking. Can anybody tell me? I said analyze the column and decide on the insight. What insights do you think I can get? Anybody? Anybody?
Yeah, I think at a quick glance, if I'm not mistaken, at least from the type of graduate, is it graduate or undergraduate, I can quickly just know how many graduate students are in all of this or how many undergraduate students. I can break it up. So if I'm looking at anything that has to do with undergraduate, I can just filter the graduate out of it and start getting other details if it has to do with undergraduate. Or I can decide, okay, how many students enrolled during the different section, winter, fall, or whatever. Depends on where the follow-up questions will come from to have an idea where you are going to. Because if it has to do with something that has to do with a particular, maybe for instance, you want to say, okay, at what point, how many students where do we want to focus our adverts? Where is our strength? Is it the winter, fall, or spring, or whatever? Just decide on that and look at the trend over a number of years that we already have. We can draw up conclusion there and say, okay, more of our students are coming at this section, or do we want to drive more or this time? So it can even help you to balance resources. Where and what point do you have to take temporary resources to aid that period instead of having permanent staff? You can aid resources for where you have a heavy enrollment and the other enrollment. And I know, just at a glance, those are the few things I think you can get out of it.
Yes, so from this, you can get all kinds of information because there are several columns and they are self-explanatory. One thing you must note is that whatever insight you are trying to get, remember that the case study is saying that, let me go to what the case study says. The case study says, okay, but it says provide a report to management to help in decision making. So don't give an insight that will not help management. So if you say, okay, the number of graduate students, okay, of what value is that to management? So you have to think critically about it. This insight I'm getting, what value will it be? Fine, it's an insight, but you can have an insight that is really not an insight to anybody except you, but you must try and make sure you are thinking for your stakeholders. Right now, the interviewer is your stakeholder. Remember, I said value is defined by your stakeholder, not you. So don't try to make yourself happy with your insight. You have to make the interviewer happy. What will the interviewer want to see in this particular case study. So yeah, so let's move on. Let's analyze.
Okay, question, please.
Yeah, I think it would be good to
okay,
take
go ahead. Okay, when you finish. All right.
Yes, because I have 15 minutes. And I want
okay.
to, I don't even think I can finish everything I want to do.
You just do as much as you can at least.
Okay, so I'm using Excel. So in Excel, what I want to do is I want to use something we call a pivot table. Some of you know pivot tables. And like I said, I'm bringing out the business analyst out of you. So even the pivot table, you know, is enough to get you a BA job, a data analytics job. I am telling you, it is enough. And I'm really very serious about that. I have somebody here that's how they got their data analytics job, you know, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing we'll do, we've seen the data. So what I'm thinking we should do, why don't we provide an insight on the number of enrollments, you know, related to maybe winter, you know, so let's do the number of enrollments related to like fall, spring, or winter, you know, and see what we get from that. So I'm going to do something now. So for a pivot table, you go to your insert. So you see, I click on this, I go to my insert, I go to my pivot table, and my pivot table is asking me, this is my source I'm getting my data from. You see, it's highlighting everything here. So at least it has created a range. I go to my I go to my new worksheet. So it's going to create a new worksheet by decide for analysis, and I click OK. You know, so remember, I want to focus on what does I want to focus on enrollment per I want to focus on enrollment per term. So I can see which terms do students enroll more in, you know, so that maybe we can focus more adverts on those terms that they are not enrolling in, or create incentives for people to enroll in certain kinds of, so that at least regardless of the term, we'll always have the maximum amount of students. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I want to determine what will be in my column. So in my column, I want my fiscal year, in my rows, I want my fiscal year. But looking at this, I think I want to focus on, I want to filter it. So if I filter, I want to uncheck every other thing and leave only these ones, the 20, because this is 2012, 13, 2013, 14, and you know, I feel this might just distract me. So now that I've done this, when I'm submitting my presentation, in my assumptions or my constraints, I'm going to let them know that I created a filter that eliminated this. So you need to make that known so they are aware of the assumptions that you made or the constraints that you had. So don't forget, create an assumptions and a constraint list and let them know exactly what you excluded or the constraints that you have. So if I filter that, the next thing that I want to do is that I want my terms to be here. So for this term or for this year, I want to show all the terms. So I think this is my term type. I'll bring it to the columns here. So you see I have fall, spring, and winter. Then here you will see my unique, my unique head count. I'll bring it to the value. So it shows the sum, you know, it shows me the sum of everything. Then I also want to filter by campus. So if you look at campus, you have all the colleges, but I only want to focus on University of Waterloo. So I'm going to drag my compass to this to filter. So right now I'm focused I have my campus, I have my term type, I have my fiscal year, I have this. So it means that for 2018, for 2008, I have this data. Well, you see, this data is still difficult to understand. I want to create a visualization. So what you do, you select everything here. You go to your insert, you go to your recommend, And I like this. This is just a recommendation. I think I like it. So you click OK. So we can see from here that admission is usually low during the spring, just from this visualization. Admission is usually low during the spring. So, but I want to take out all these headers. So I'll right click and say hide all headers. Then I want this because it's usually spring, fall, and winter. So I want my spring to come to my left. So this is my spring here. So I'll just highlight this, right click, and I will say move to the beginning. Good. So admissions or enrollment is usually high during fall, and it's usually highest during fall. But you can also see that over the years, our enrollment is increasing. Visually, you can see it. So it means that the university is doing well, but we can do better. You know, we can do better, but at least it's doing well. So I want numbers added to this. So what I'll do, I'll quickly do, let's see, I'll quickly do, no, let me add labels. So I'm going to add my labels. So at least I see that for 2018 or for 2008, you know, these are the numbers, but you can exactly see the steady increase. Is really that steady increase that I like. Is that steady increase that I like. So this is an insight that you have created, and you can let them know that we have a steady increase in the total enrollment. We can do that calculation. We have a steady increase in the total enrollment, and but there's usually low enrollment in spring. So it might be good to do further analysis or to create incentives for people to enroll in the spring. But this at least will give management an idea of what is happening. Remember, this is where we started from, just a bunch of numbers. But in 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, we already have an insight on enrollment. And that is the power of analytics and, you know, and yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, that's the power of analytics. Okay, so here you can see a couple of other things. I'm not going to go there, so I don't get my system to crash. Okay, so good. Now let's try another one. So I think I want to do, let's try another one on gender, because someone mentioned gender right now. Let's try something else on gender, and let's see what we can do. I have 6 minutes. Okay, let's see. So this is my main data. I go to insert again. I go to insert again. I go to insert. I'll go to pivot. You know, it shows me what I need to do. It shows me the page to be on. So I want to work on gender. So for gender, I want to know the gender. So let me drag gender first. Where is gender? I want to drag gender to my rows. These are my rows. So you have all the genders, but I want to filter my gender. For simplicity, I'll just make it male and female, just for simplicity's sake. It's not like the other ones are not important, but I just want to make it as simple as possible. So at least I have female and male. Another thing that I want to do, I want to filter by campus. So where's my campus? I want to focus only on University of Waterloo. So where's my campus? I'll drag to filter. So I'm filtering on University of Waterloo. I want to move my head count into values. So these are the numbers. These are the numbers for females and numbers for male. But I also want to filter by fiscal year. And so fiscal year meaning that I want to eliminate all this data. Remember, all your filtering needs to be in your assumption. So I'm going to move my fiscal year here. I'm going to move my fiscal year here. And what else? I have my, so yeah. So I have my gender, and I have my female, I have my male, and let's create something out of here. Let me just check this field here. 2018, good. Gender, we have 2. Great. Fiscal year, multiple items. Okay, so let's create some visualizations. Insert this. No, I want to use a pie. I think a pie would be better. So create this. I'm taking up these headers so they don't distract me. So let's see. I want to add the data labels. Good. But for these data labels, I want more information on the data labels, but we'll get there. So I have my data labels. I would click on this and format data series. No, I clicked on something else. So I want to show the percentage. So you can see the percent now. And I want to show whether it is male or female. So you can see male is 57%, female is 43%. Why am I doing this? So anybody that sees it visually can know that, okay, for this number of years, we are looking at 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Totally, the males, we have more male in school than female, 57% and 43%. So let's do another analysis. I want to do 3 analyses here. Let's go back here. I have 2 minutes. Insert pivot table. Now, I already have a sheet for gender, so I'm going to go to that sheet that I have for gender, existing. I will click here, and I will click here. Good. So it's going to bring my pivot under here. What do I want to do? I want to look for the gender distribution for all courses except engineering and computer science. Because based on former analysis, it has been identified that females do not tend to enroll for engineering and computer science. So I want to isolate that data and see what it is like. So what I will do here is I'll come to my fiscal year. My fiscal year is still the same thing. So I'm going to take all this out. And I'll bring this into my filter. Another thing I want to do is my campus. Remember my campus. So the campus, I want to eliminate all the campus except University of Waterloo. So this would be another filter. What else can I do? Yes, faculty. Now, remember, I told you I want to eliminate everything except engineering. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to check everything except engineering. I click here, so I'll filter, I take out engineering. Then I will move my gender to my rows. So I want to see gender, then I will move the values, so I'll see the count. So you can see that the females are more now. So let me do my stuff. Insert. Recommended. No, I don't want this. I want the pie. Thank you. Put this here. Take out the headers. Yeah, so give me 1 second. Take out the title. I don't want it. Take out the title here. Give me my data labels. But for my data labels, I want to add the percent. This. So it will be on YouTube, so you can pause it and please mute yourself. You can pause it and just follow through what I'm doing. You know, you can learn from that. So if you look at this, you discover that the females are more now when we remove engineering. So I'll just put here females are more, excluding engineering. So if you remove engineering and computer science, the females are more. In general, the males are more. So now let us analyze only engineering and computer science and see what it looks like. So if you know in Canada, there's something about STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, and the female gender, trying to bring more females. It is this kind of analysis that helps the government know that females are not enrolling in this course, and we might just be able to find out why and encourage more people to do it. Yeah, sorry, this, then I'm going to click here. I'm going to click OK. So let's do our last analysis. I'm 2 minutes, I'm already 2 minutes out of time, just bear with me. So fiscal year, I will take all this out and leave this. Okay, I'll drag my fiscal year to my filter. What else am I driving to my filter? My campus. I'm focusing on University of Waterloo only. I'll put it here. What else am I focusing on again? My gender. I'll move my gender here. I'll filter my gender, male and female only. I also want to yeah, my faculty. Remember that I only want to focus on engineering. So I will uncheck everything and I'll leave only engineering. So I'll drag engineering here. Where? Here.
I don't think it was engineering you clicked on.
Yeah, it was engineering. So if you look at the filter, see. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you. So engineering. So you see we are now in engineering. Yeah, then the counts. So now let's analyze, insert, recommended, pie charts. Okay. So let's put this under. Let me take this out. Take the title out, this, and right click, format. No, clicking on the right thing. Yes, so I'm going to give me the names and give me the percent. So you see that if we focus only on engineering, sorry, I just want to write engineering. If you focus only on engineering, you will see that engineering is what is skewing this data. Now you are looking at this and you're saying, oh, we have more male enrollment, but it's just one department that is creating, that is skewing that data, that looks as if we have more, we actually have more male enrollment, but the sheer number of people in engineering is affecting our data or is skewing our data, depending on how you want to look at it. So this data here is for every course in that fiscal year, and find out that we have 57% of more male enrollment. If we look at it without engineering, we have 54% of female enrollment. The females actually are enrolled more in the university if we are not considering engineering. If we focus on engineering only, you find out that we have 81% of males. So, and management can use this data in different ways. Okay, we want to get more females into engineering, or what exactly, why are females not enrolling? No, you can use, there are different ways that you can use this. So we've exceeded our time. So I sincerely don't want to, I knew we were going to exceed. So please, the second case study is here, but I'm not going to go through it. Maybe we'll do it at another time. This is the second case study, but I can't go through it. So let me show you the insight, the one that let me show you what we, sorry, I'm having some difficulties here. End slideshow, this card. So let me show you something I created just for this class to show you the insights. I knew we're not going to have enough time. So can you see my screen? Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the insight that I created. Remember that thing that I did for you in Excel? So I moved it to PowerPoint. You know, where is that Excel sheet that I did again? Remember here. Remember this one. So I just copied like this, you know, so that you don't think I just copied like this and pasted it in PowerPoint and added some insights. For each year, the fall term has the highest enrollment. So fall is usually highest. There is a steady increase in total enrollment over the years, and you can see that there's a steady increase. There's an increase in enrollment comparing the same terms in different years. So if you look at the spring term, it keeps increasing. It was 16,000, it was 17,000 in 2009, 18,000, and it's increasing steadily. And if you look at all the other ones, they're increasing steadily too. For example, the fall term has a 4% increase from 2010. That's fall, has a 4% increase from 2010 to 2011. So this is an insight. Now let's go to the next one. This is that gender one that I told you about. So I just copied all those things into PowerPoint. And what am I saying here? This is the total enrollment for all students. Overall, more males were enrolled with 59%. For all students, excluding engineering and computer science, if we exclude engineering and computer science, the female gender has more enrollments for the years 2018, 2019, 2010, and 2011. Remember, I told you to put your assumptions and your constraints. And if we focus only engineering, we have 81% of the males. Now, I didn't show you this one, but I also did a program type statistics. So what does it mean? I just did all the enrollments in respect to the various departments. And if you look, engineering has 35% of all enrollments. You know, so it means that there are a lot of people that enroll in engineering. If you compare that to here, you will see that, you know, there's a match. This actually shows that we have a lot of people, a lot of males that enroll in engineering. So engineering has a lot of enrollment, you know, and you can see that the second enrollment is in art. It means that the engineering faculty here is either doing well or people just love to do engineering, you know. So, and the least enrollment is health sciences. Another one that I did is on the college enrollment per colleges. So the enrollment per college, let me see, sorry. The enrollment per college. And if you look here, you will see that we have 4 colleges. We have the Conrad Grebel University College, Renissing University College. So these are just like satellite campuses or something like that. And you have a college in United Arab Emirates. Now, if you look, you will see that the United Arab Emirates has the fastest growth rate in a 4-year period. You can see how from 2010 to 2011, you can see the growth rate, you know, 66%, you know, and you can see the growth rate for the other ones, you know. If you look at which university, if you look at Conrad, admission is dropping. So what's exactly going on in Conrad? You know, Conrad is, you know, one of our affiliate colleges. There's something they are doing to our students. Are they being nice to the students? Something is wrong in that college that you notice that there's a drop. So management needs this information. And that's why I told you that don't just create insight. It has to be a meaningful insight, something that makes sense to the management. If you look at every other one, they all seem, Conrad seems to have a very sharp decline. But the other ones seem to be in a steady decline too. And it's over 4 years. So there's really something going on that management needs to investigate. Another analysis that I did, which is the last one we're going to talk about, is the average enrollment over time. So you can see that our, in relation to international students. So you can see that in terms of international students, we have a steady increase. On the average, the yearly enrollment for international students for these 4 years is 9,149. And there's a steady increase in enrollment. You know, between 2010 and 2011, enrollment increased by 1,325 or 13%, you know, between 2010 and 2011, and between 2009 and 2010, we had an 11% increase. Yes, the jackpot syndrome. Yes, I agree. I'm sure if we got 2022 data, you'll be amazed. I don't think it would be, I don't think it will be 11% because on Twitter, I've seen people that are always trying to help people into colleges in Ontario, University of Waterloo, Conestoga College, and all that. So if we were to see the 2022 data, I'm sure it would just be something completely different. So this is just the short of what I wanted to show us, that in using Excel, I was able to do this analysis. And like I told you, I did this analysis in just 1 hour, or let's say 2 hours, and I don't see any management that would not be excited. So I'm not just creating insight, I'm visualizing it in an interesting way. I'm isolating what management would like to see and showing them in a way that will help them to make decisions. And that is business analysis. Like I said, you say, okay, what's the difference between business analysis and data analysis? A data analyst is just a business analyst that focuses on data or specializes in data. A health analyst is just a business analyst that focuses on health. An insurance analyst is a business analyst that focuses on insurance. So there is a business analyst in you, and I can help get that business analyst out. Like I said, if we, maybe I'll do another one and we'll talk about another case study. We'll do another one and maybe we'll talk about another case study. But for now, I think I will just take questions because I've exceeded my time. If there are any questions, please let me know about those questions and we can answer them. Please point me on the skills required to function as a data analyst. Yeah, as a data analyst, you need to, number one, understand what data analysis is. Number two, what are the tools used for data analysis? Number three, how do you analyze data with these tools? Then number three, visualization. So I could have used Excel to analyze, but if I don't know how to visualize, visually show that data in a visually appealing way, nobody's going to be interested about the insights from my data. So number one, learn the skill, understand, recognize which tool you want to use, then figure out exactly how to use that tool to analyze data. And there are different tools: Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, Tableau. There are all kinds of tools everywhere. So then start, and you can go to YouTube, you can go to Udemy, and you can see various courses, or you can come to me and I will show you exactly how to be a business analyst that is focused on data, which most people call a data analyst. Any other question? Igalo, your hands are still raised up. Is not opening you, or you have another question? Okay. Sorry, I was just kidding. I was actually kidding.
I know. But on the serious note, like the last question, like this kind of question that you presented and you brought out all these insights and different things. This is it like this one is like an open-ended question where you're not specifically say, okay, do this or do that.
Yes.
But you create the insight and tell them the value that this insight can get.
Exactly. So there are some, they will tell you what they want to see, okay, but I didn't bring that kind of example because I felt that would be too easy. I wanted something where you
can imagine things and like create some scenarios and okay, fine.
Exactly. So, but I want to tell you truthfully, I know somebody that got something similar to this, not exactly, but something similar to this. They gave an Excel sheet and they said, give us insights. I know somebody that got that. Thank you, Kemi. So that's my colleague. She posted some things that can help you become a data analyst. So I know somebody that got just his Excel sheet and it said, give us insights. So any question before we call it a day? Anybody have any question for us? Yeah, I thought I saw a question on requirements. Am I mistaken? Is a requirement analyst role same as a business? Yeah. So business analysts work on requirements. No, that's not all they do, but a requirements analyst is just a business analyst that is focused on gathering requirements or eliciting requirements. So the word is not gathering, the word is eliciting. And there's a difference between gathering and eliciting. Gathering means you are an order taker, you just go to them, what's your requirement, and you write it down. That will not bring out the value in you as a business analyst. Elicit is a different kind of BA that digs deep, that questions, that asks open-ended questions, that will get information, that will get the true need from the stakeholders. So there's a webinar I'm going to do on how to ask the right questions as a business analyst. You know, you need to be able to ask certain questions that, because you go to a stakeholder. Okay, I work somewhere where I went to my stakeholders, and anytime I'm coming, everywhere will be quiet. When I'm coming, I'll hear them talking. Maybe I get they will be quiet, you know, because they're not used to having a business analyst. So I asked questions, and they will not give me any information. So one of the days I met their lead in the coffee room, and I asked, I said, I just, chat, in Canada, you just chat and all that. Audio is low. Is my audio low? I'm actually screaming. Yeah, I even think I'm screaming on you.
It's not low. Me, I can hear you well.
It's not low.
Okay. Sorry, because I'm actually shouting. So I engaged the lady. I was like, how are you doing this on weather and all that and all that and all that? I was like, I tried to explain that I noticed that when I come around, everybody seems to be on edge. There's something that I'm saying or people don't understand me. I'm actually here to help. I'm new, but I'm also here to help. I'm here to make your lives better. She said, yes, Harry, I understand. But the problem is that we feel when you are done with this process improvement or with this new solution, we are going to lose our jobs, and that's why people are very hesitant to talk to you. And I had to explain to her that no one is going to lose their job. If you look at your KPIs contains 10 things. But if you notice, those 10 things for the last 5 years, you have not met any. Why? Because you are bogged down with some unnecessary operational activities. I was brought in here to help sieve out those things that are not part of your KPI, that are bogging you down, and automate those ones so that you can focus on the key things that you're supposed to work on. And immediately I said that, she was, wow, okay, I understand. And so, like I said, it is not just about gathering requirements, it's about eliciting requirements, digging deep, understanding your stakeholders, creating a rapport, asking the right questions, and at the end of the day, we delivered that project. They were happy, and I was best friend to everybody, in that particular unit and division. Okay, I'm only going to answer one more question. I will call it a day. Please, it's just because of time. There are people connected from Nigeria and other parts, and it's quite late. Do you have trainings for SQL? Yes, we have trainings for SQL. So we have one training. We have our business analysis training has an SQL component, but we have a data analytics training where we are not just talking about SQL alone. We are talking about Power BI. We are talking about Python. We're talking about using R and a couple of other things. So that's just a little more advanced. But if you don't want to do all those advanced analytics, you can do the BA course, and there we'll do SQL. We'll use SQL to query data and all that. Yeah, I think our view, for those who can't join the 9 weeks training, are there other opportunities? Would there be another? Yeah, so Miriam, please send us an email and let's talk one-on-one. We can always discuss all those ad-hoc. Are you expected to elicit requirements in an interview case study? No, usually you don't have that time. You don't have that time. Because usually they will send you the case study from home. So they will send you the case study and tell you to work on it. Or you come to the interview and they will tell you, you have 2 hours to work on a case study. They will move you to a different Zoom room, go and work on that case study, submit, and you continue your interview. So you really don't have time for that. That is why I say document your assumptions. Because you are not talking to them directly, you make certain assumptions, document it. Remember the last one I showed you? I showed you the gender distribution, but I told you that I only did it for a particular number of years. And I eliminated some universities. I eliminated all the colleges and only left University of Waterloo. So document your assumptions. It's not supposed to be perfect. Everybody will answer it in a certain way, but let them know what you assumed that gave you that particular conclusion. Yeah, so who can, okay, now, okay, good. I think we are done for today. I don't think there are no more questions there. And I really, really, really want to appreciate everybody. We are going to have another session coming up on maybe a week from now or 2 weeks from now, where maybe we'll talk about the second case study. Can we get the recorded version? Yeah, as we did not comment. Yeah, the recorded version is on YouTube. To be on YouTube, yeah. So you can, sorry, I lost my train of thoughts. Yeah, so in 2 weeks, we'll have another one. But that one will not be focusing on data, it'll be focusing on maybe project communication or the delivery of a new solution. So I invite you to come. For those that want the free Scrum study and the Lean Six Sigma certification free, you saw my email. Just go and like our social media handles and post webinars and reach out to us, and we'll give you that voucher for your certification in Lean Six Sigma and Scrum. And for those that want to do our training, starting, there are still a couple of seats remaining. We don't have so many seats. So if you want to enroll, at least show your interest and we can talk about all the others. So thank you so much. I hope this webinar gave you some insight. I hope it helped. My intention was to help as many people. And if you have any suggestions, let me know. But I really hope that this was able to help someone.